Welcome to a brand new episode of The Untold. This is the show where we have amazing guests, and for today's episode, we have Maryam Abdullah. But first, I'm your host, Abdullah Hindiani. I'm joined by my colleague.
الأثري. And honestly, Abdullah, I'm so excited about today's guest. Not only is she the first Arab woman to travel to all the countries in the world, but she's also the first Arab to do it. This was actually a great dream of mine as a child, to travel everywhere in the world, see all the cultures, and to meet someone who's actually done it. It's like a dream come true.
Yeah, it's amazing. When I first read the brief, it's the first time I knew we had 197 countries, which is the amount of countries she's been to. And I'm a fan of traveling. I've always wanted to travel, but there's a lot of fears and anxiety when it comes to travel. So hopefully today's episode is going to clear all of that up.
I agree. I also have a lot of things I overthink about, especially with traveling and planning. So I'm curious to see how she managed to do it. It's not an easy feat. So the fact that she even did this, it's something for the record books.
Yeah, and to cure that curiosity, we are going to go on a very quick break and we'll come right back with her. And we are back with Maryam Abdullah. So first, I want to welcome you for joining us on The Untold.
Thank you so much for having me with you today.
Thank you. And I believe you are, an honorary guest on The Untold because you're the first, I'm going to say, Arab woman who has gone through, the globe, right? You've gone through all countries. So it's an honor to sit with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really honored as well to be here with you.
It's really amazing because you're not only the first Arab woman, but the first Arab to go to all the countries in the world.
Yes.
And honestly, that was always a dream of mine as a child. But when you're young, you think, I want to travel the world or I want to do something like that. But saying it and doing it are two completely different things.
Exactly.
And yet you went and did it.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive.
Yes. And guess what? It wasn't a dream for me.
Really?
Yes, it wasn't a dream that I was chasing. It happened by chance that I visit every country, but the way I did it is I wanted to visit not every country, but I wanted to visit country to see the culture and see the people, their behavior, just to learn more about how they function together, how they live their day. And then with time, it took me 18 years. So it's, it shows that it wasn't the goal.
Journey.
Yeah. So with time, basically the countries became, less and less, like I had less access to a lot of countries because I've been a lot into so many countries. So when I realized that I have, I reached like 190, this is where I realized like, oh my God, I just have a few countries left.
It was so close.
That's it. Yeah. So it was, I was happy. I'll be honest, when I visited my last country, which was Uruguay, I was so happy, but at the same time, I was sad because I didn't know what's coming next. So there's a lot to see and there's a lot to know about the world.
I think there's a scientific term for this, but I forgot, where the journey itself is more, fulfilling than the actual destination.
Yes.
And for a lot of people, they feel emptiness. I think that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
But I do want to go back to the beginnings, right? Because you said it wasn't a dream of mine. So I assume that wasn't the purpose, right? You were traveling the world, but then it became a purpose. So what was that point? Like at what country or at what number were like, oh, I can actually make this and I'm going to do it?
My goal was basically to document what people like, the way people live, the culture itself, try the food, basically just me and people of every single country. But with time, I started to realize that there are so many things that you can do. Every country has an offer for you. It could be nature, it could be culture, it could be something that you would try as a sport. It could be a lot of things that you can basically. So it's a collection of things that you could do in different countries. To me, I progressed. I'll be honest. I didn't start just traveling just to meet people. I had to, exercise and perform some kind of sports similar to like such as hiking or trekking, just to reach places and villages that are on top of mountains, just to see how people live there, how people perform things, how do they cook, how do they communicate with each other, how they live their life. So there's a lot that you would basically see and experience when you travel. So around the globe you would see how do I say it? Even feelings that you would see, like there are places where you will see people are bored or happy or sad. I've been traveling even during pandemic and epidemic times, and you can see the people how they are, getting their life back, how they're, doing their best just to continue, living. So there's, as I said, there's a lot to see, there's a lot to experience. But how did I plan it? I grew up with it gradually. I started with the touristic countries.
Yeah.
I was a tourist, I'm not gonna lie.
Like
I started
Paris,
as a tourist, yes,
Milan,
like
that sort of
Europe,
stuff.
North Africa. So I started with these countries, but with time I felt, no, there's a lot to see. If I'm going from, like, even if I go to Europe, I used to go to villages and I see a huge difference between the city and a village. And this is where I started to build, the knowledge that I need to be in somewhere different. I need to be in a place with a different situation. Yes, I've been to places that are safe, but I wanted to be in a place where there is like an epidemic, just to see how people function when there is a disease around or there is an outbreak, just to document these things, just to see, because sometimes you see them on TV, but you don't know exactly what is the feeling, what is the behavior of people, under these situations. So this is what pushed me to start traveling and go to remote places and just to experience these things. And you'll be surprised of how people, like, just kilometers away, how they differ from one point to another.
That's honestly beautiful. The idea that you just started doing this organically, like it wasn't planned. I feel like a lot of the times when you plan stuff a lot, it doesn't actually happen the way you want it to.
Yeah.
But when things sort of happen almost spontaneously, it's like you're on the right path. So this is what you're meant to do.
Yes.
When you started realizing you wanted to travel to all these countries and you told like your family or friends, what did they say? Did they support you?
Oh, I never tell.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I never tell. If you tell people that you're going for a place where, or an activity that you're doing that is a bit dangerous, or there's a volcano that you want to, hike up or something, nobody will support that. Everybody's like, why are you doing this? Why aren't you scared that you might break a bone or break something, or this happens, or you get kidnapped, or this or that? So when you have these thoughts that coming to you from different people, you might get scared, and then you just back up and then never, take that step and do it. So I do the thing and then I tell people what
There's
I've
a lot of
done.
naysayers. Yeah, it reminds me of Post Malone's song called Congratulations, where the essence of the song is that people always stand against you on what you're doing,
Yes.
but then after you do it, they're all like, congratulations, we always believed in
Exactly.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So don't tell only one person, probably a family member that you know, and you tell them what you're doing, and then you just go and enjoy your life. At least someone would know something happens, they can help.
Yeah, no, it's important to have someone who's aware.
Yes, yes. But it's really important that you try things. Like, don't get scared of trying new things, different food, because this is what makes us different. We have different food, different environments, so many things that we have. I mean, even there are things that I've seen even in way of farming that I have visited, like the cold places, the way they farm is different than the humid places, than this, than that. So even farming is different. Like, even these things you want to experience and see how people do that. So
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people who want to travel or want to be in the same place, I think they're kind of afraid of the logistics of it, right? They're afraid of traveling, they're afraid of heights, the airport, being on an airplane. So going through so many countries, do you have like any tips about, life-saving tips, whether you're on a
yes,
plane,
of course.
dealing with exhaustion and long travels?
Yeah, first of all, we have to acknowledge that it's normal to be scared at the beginning or to be scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't start walking from the day one that we were born. It took us, what, a year and a half to basically start crawling and then start walking and, or standing and then walking and then running and then this. So everything takes time. So we need to take this. And, when I started traveling, I didn't know how to hike. I didn't know how to trek. I didn't know how to deal with people. I wasn't even that social person who would talk to people. So with time, I decided first to do a list, like a bucket list of things that I wanted to do. Like, if I used to be claustrophobic,
Oh,
and I did a lot of things that I went to a lot of caves, crawled into caves. I walked into closed places. I did diving. I did a lot of things that are against what I'm used to. So there are always, we always think that we have like a red line that we should not cross.
yeah.
But this is an imaginary line that we put because we watched a movie or someone told us something or we heard a story that when we were kids. But this is an imaginary line that you don't know what you're capable of until you take a step and you cross that.
Yeah.
So I always say, always try. There's no harm of trying unless it's something that hurts your, your health or affects your health or affects, your reputation or something. But always take a step because you don't know if this is something that will be joyful for you or, so even for hiking, a lot of people, they say, oh, I don't think we could hike. I don't think we could do this. So just try one hike, try something that is easy at the beginning, and then you gradually will grow with it. So always go easy. And then, I mean, I didn't start traveling into like difficult destinations when I started, as I
You said
mentioned.
you started with tourist places.
Yes, tourist places I started, and even the way I built the skill to speak with people. I started with the local markets, because the local markets, this is where you find the people who are active and they are dealing with lots of types of people. So once you go to the local market and then you have a conversation with anyone who's selling something, you will get the idea of how people think, what people like, what people dislike, how they behave, and then this is how you open up with the rest of the nation. So just take things gradually. It's normal to be scared. It's normal to be having questions or concerns at the beginning, but always try to do something to unlock that block.
I personally also have that kind of fear with especially closed spaces or kind of more dangerous exploratory situations. Like hiking, I wouldn't mind so much as long as it's more relaxing, if you know what I mean. I love to look at nature and explore and
Yes.
walk, but I think I have that red line for myself where I'm like, I'm never going into a dark cave. I don't know what's in there. What if I get stuck? All these fears are always in my head.
Exactly.
So to overcome it, what did you do? Did you just, like you said, take it gradually?
Oh, yes, I had a bucket list. I had a
Okay.
list, and then I had maybe 12, 15 lists after that. Every time I list 10 things that I'm scared of, that I cannot do, that I cannot perform, I hate, and then I started doing them, because you will be able to find each one of them in a different country. We don't have everything here. Like, we don't have caves, we don't have deep oceans, we don't have this, we don't have a shark cage activity, for example. Like, we don't have this. This is something that when you see it, you want to try it. We don't have like different types of tribes in Kuwait, but you want to know about the tribes, how they live. Even in Africa, in one country, you'll be surprised of how different they are and how you interact with them. Even that I built gradually, just to know how to deal with different tribes from the north of Africa to south of Africa to east and west. They all different. So my advice is have a list. And then every country you go to, see if you can experience one thing. Diving, if you go to Egypt, for example, or if you go to Mexico or any place that has a beautiful place to try, a safe place to try, do it. And then maybe you want to dive in Namibia. You never know, even though the waves are very hard to even surf with. You never know what you're going to do. So always start gradually, but always have the chance to take a step. But we're going to have a conversation offline so I can tell you how to.
I really appreciate that. Especially how you mentioned like diving and stuff. That's something I feel I couldn't do. I think I watched like shark movies too much when I was a kid and I got too scared of what's in the ocean,
I was there at one point until I got my license. I never thought I would ever dive. I don't even swim. So
Really?
I had to learn how to swim, and I had to learn how to dive, and then I started diving. So there's a lot to see. There's a lot. Like, the more you do, the more you curious become to know more and to see more. So the knowledge, because the knowledge is always an added value. Like, if you stop, you'll never know what's there. So I always tell them, like, sometimes you want to go up, and maybe I tell you, oh, if you go up, there's nothing much to see, but maybe I look at things differently than the way you see. So don't take the views of others just to shape up yours. Do yours, and then maybe when you go up, you might see the view that maybe you enjoy the view of clouds. I don't enjoy the view of clouds. I want to see buildings. So we have different perspectives. We have different ways of looking at things, because we grew up in different environments. I may enjoy something you don't, and vice versa. So always do your own thing until you know what you like.
That's so true. And it's amazing to think that you learn so many new skills just from exploring all these places.
Yes.
We're going to go on a short break right now, and then I hope we get to talk more about this, because this topic is really, really interesting to me. Stay tuned.
And now we're back with Maryam Abdullah, and I want to put you on the spot for a little bit of time. because you said that the reason you fell in love with all of this is the culture, the people. And I want to go back to that point, is that what, culture, maybe from some unknown kind of, country, surprised you the most, right? Whether it's in their traditions, behaviors, their day-to-day life.
I would say the one that was just, I would say, different from a lot of, let's say, cultures that I've been to, or tribes, I would say, was the one in Niger. In Niger, every September, there are four tribes that they
Yeah.
get together, because it's a huge country, it's a desert, and then they gather in one place where they try to have a celebration. They call it as a marriage celebration. But
Okay.
what's different of that is that men actually are the ones who should have the colors in their faces, and they dress in different colors and different times during the day, because they have different rituals during the day.
Oh, okay.
And the woman, there's actually also like a short list, and then the woman has to choose which one she wants to marry. So I'll give you a short just example, that they have like 40 men, that they have three different rituals, one during dawn, one during midday, and then during sunset. So each one of them, they have different. So the dawn, the one that is during dawn, it's more of a cultural and more of a manly kind of rituals.
Yeah.
They gather around the fire, they just sing, and just to show that they are going to be responsible, that they wake up early and they do this. And then during midday, they dress differently, and they have different colors, and they have different performance, just to show that they care, during the day, about how they can handle the family. And then in the afternoon, this is where the short list happens, because there are people who are monitoring, like judges who are
It's like
monitoring.
a
They will
competition.
it's like a competition, and then they will put like a feather on the best performance since dawn and midday, and then it's like an indication for the bride to tell them, to tell her that these are the best that we have found out. But again, you can choose anyone you want from those 40. So this is where I found it was a bit the other way around than what we are used to, where men actually, they go and propose
Yeah.
and do these things. But in this case, the woman has to choose, and they have to dress differently. So it kind of changed a lot of aspects when you look at marriage, where how a woman is just waiting for the men to perform their best, to show that they can be responsible, that they can be, a family oriented men, and move forward, with the family. So this is, to me, stands out of the norm that we were used to.
That's so cool. Honestly, I wish that we did that more everywhere else in the world. Like, let the women
So much
choose.
easier.
Let the women choose. Men, show us what you got, and we're the ones who will
Yeah.
decide, do we like you? I don't know.
And just to be fair, she was very fast when she chose. Usually women, we take time, to
Yeah,
choose.
I must have been the feather, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Yeah.
it helps a lot.
This reminds me of a video I saw on, I think it was a documentary on called Our Planet or something, where there was a bird that was actually doing a dance ritual for the female birds, and then the female birds has to choose the
Yes.
best dancer.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's how nature actually
yeah.
works. Yes.
It's funny how different cultures from around the world, have different ideas of the societal hierarchy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, no, in the animal kingdom, it usually is the male
Male.
animal that shows off, like think about lions and peacocks and all that.
Yes.
It's just we decided to do it differently for some
Exactly.
reason.
Then in nature, they decided to do it the
The right way.
The right
They're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Right, Abdullah?
Right. Yeah. It's 2 against 1 on this show, so I gotta agree with all these. What
Well,
you
we
say.
choose, so I
Yeah.
guess. Was it hard for you, though, to interact with the tribes and stuff? I feel like language must be a huge issue for you in these travels. So what do you do about that?
Yes, language is always a challenge, I would say, especially if you don't speak the travel language. Like the travel languages, to me, are the English, Arabic, French, Spanish, and Russian, because
Yeah.
they open up a lot of destinations for you. But when you go to tribes, sometimes they don't even speak any of those five
Yeah.
languages, and you end up just having like a guide or the driver that you have with
Okay.
you. They could help you with that. So it's a conversation. But the thing is about the tribes that this is my personal observation that I found in different countries. When you have the tribes, they're always like they're homey, like they're always welcoming. They're always happy to see someone who's, you know, different, someone who's a stranger to them. They want to learn about you just as much as you want to learn about them. So when I was going around the tents, because it was a camping, you know, area in the desert. So when I was going around just to document how basically men, you know, start, you know, dressing up, and the colors and the different, you know, the shells that they have, and different colors that they keep, you know, wearing, they were happy actually to pause for a picture, or just, you know, just to do what they're doing, and then just, you know, document that. And I look at the women, and the women, they're just, you know, chilling and it's doing nothing, just waiting for that
I
moment to
love that.
happen. You know, so you see them like you know, in different areas, and then in different I would say ways of dealing with this rituals that they have. So they were super friendly. Always keep in mind that people are not aggressive at the beginning unless there is a situation that is happening
Yeah.
and they need to be careful of. But people are always, or let's say most of the time, they are friendly, especially if you go with a smile. And as I give you the trick at the beginning, if you go to a local market and you know how to speak with the people who sell there, you will know how to joke with the strangers later on as you move out of the city. And this is the trick I use. So when I go to them, I start talking about like a soap, a local soap that they have that I saw in, you know, in the market. Oh, how do you use this? So it's just a way to open a conversation
Make
with them.
small talk.
Yes, and then you can joke about something and laugh about something. But at the same time, sometimes if I can't find something to talk about with them, I always have pictures of Kuwait, the food of Kuwait, like the Kuwaiti food, the way we dress. And I just show them, like, see how you're dressed as a man or how you're dressed as a woman. This is how men are, you know, how this is how men dress back home. This is how I dress, you know, back home. And this is how our lives, this is this. So they love to see, you know, things. So always, there's always a conversation that you can be creative, you know. And so if you can't find something, just have a couple of pictures, you know, within your phone. This is going to open a lot of discussions, you know.
It's a good, you know, medium for cultural exchange.
Yes,
They're
it's an
gonna see, yeah,
icebreaker as well, you
right.
know. It's a really interesting way, because the way they're going to react to what you're telling them, they're always going to be surprised. They're
Yeah.
always going to be, you know, when I started traveling to these destinations, I used to take with me like Kuwaiti biscuits and chocolates, and then I felt that it's a bit harming when you take chocolate, but I take the biscuits because, you know, it's less sugar, and then it's a taste of Kuwait, you know. It's
Right.
just something for them to try, and they always love it, you know. They always like, oh, you have this, you have that, it's different. And as I said at the beginning, it's always like, you know, it's the culture, the environment, the behavior, the food. It's always there are different, and those are the things that keeps us interested about others. Like, you always, like, when you have, if you want to travel, you always want to see what they eat, how they live,
Yeah.
how they behave, how
It's the
they.
fun of curiosity.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So these are always the questions that we look for, but at the same time, even the ones that we're going to, they want to know these about us. So always have these kind of pictures or tiny things that you can share with them.
And I do want to drive the point towards something a little bit more dramatic, because, you know, throughout all of your travels, I'd imagine you've faced so many life-changing experiences.
Yes.
So I do want to ask you about, you know, what was a moment that was significant in you know, in your personal life, you know, whether it changed your mentality, your view on life, your view on the world, or anything of that matter.
Yeah, my life changing, like, this is what pushed me actually for solo traveling and just to know more and appreciate life, is that back in 2012 I took a trip to Antarctica.
Yeah.
In my ship, there were 12 cancer survivors,
Oh,
women,
yeah.
breast cancer survivors.
Mashallah.
And imagine spending 10 to 12 days with them, just having a conversation over meals in that ship going in and out of Argentina, and just listening to their stories and how they, you know, fought this, you know, disease, and how they're today, they want to live, they want to see Antarctica, they want to see
Yeah.
the animals, they want to do a lot. You know, they are giving a chance to live and see. So they're taking the chance of every second just to see how the world is. So that to me gave me a different perspective of traveling. And this is where I decided, okay, so I'll start solo traveling so I can have my pace and my own pace. I'll have my own knowledge. I'll build everything that I want to build when it comes to knowledge, skills, you know, everything. And this is how I started. So to me, that was a life changing. And those 12 women, each one of them had a story, and each story added a lot to me. It added a value and added, not just added a value, it took a lot of doubts that I had about myself, that things that I couldn't do. I didn't know if I could do them or not, but the way they talked about their stories made me think that, oh, if I'm scared of this or I cannot do this, see how they are today. They never thought that they would take a trip to Antarctica because they don't know how long they will live. But the moment they were, cured, they just took the ship and they started, with the trip to Antarctica. So always remember that your time is precious, and the health that you have is really precious, and take advantage of that to learn more, to build your knowledge and to add a lot into your life. Other than that, just do your daily thing. Just go to your job and come back to go back home and have your routine life. But my advice is always add into that. You never know what things may come.
That's so amazing, because I feel like it really helps you to see like how other people are living, and not just with these women, but with the cultures and everything.
Yes.
It allows you to actually appreciate your own life a lot more.
Yes.
But I have another life-changing question though. Tell me about the food. How is it for you trying all the food? Is there a place that's your favorite food?
Favorite food? It's I love food. I'll be honest. I love
I
food.
think we all love food here.
My favorite, to me, the Mediterranean food is the best. Like everywhere you go in the Mediterranean are the best destinations. Like if you go to Italy, Greece, Egypt, Libya, anything that is in the Mediterranean, or the food is amazing. And then if you exit, I would say Asia. So if you go to Iran, Iraq, they have the best cuisines, I would say, the best local food. And then the further you go, I would say Japan and Korea also, they had a good cuisine. So Mediterranean and then all the way to Asia. Even Thailand, they have good food.
I think it's so amazing that you got to try so many different foods and cultures from so many different places in the world. I feel like the way that you see things now, I want to look behind your eyes and see how you see and view things.
Yeah, and there are destinations that I want to go back to just for the food, actually, just for the food.
And I think because we are running out of time, so this is going to be my last question. I think it's probably the most important question for me for this episode, is that you've been all over the world, right? And there are so many different cultures, different people, languages, everything. But what would you say is the one thing that, connects us all, right? The one thing that kind of, wherever you go, it's like, oh, we are all the same.
The thing that connects us is a smile. Like if you smile, as you say, it's contagious. People will smile back. If you're nice to a kid, your parents, their parents will be friendly with you.
Yeah.
So there's always like, just start with doing something good, it will come in return. So the easiest way is just to smile at a stranger. If they smile back, that's good. If not, it's not their day. So just move on. So that's a simple thing I would answer.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good note to wrap the conversation segment on. So I do want to thank you for this very enlightening conversation. I think most of our questions were involved about traveling, but we went so much deeper than that. So I do want to thank you, Maryam, for joining us and talking to us, again and again.
Thank you so much for having me today, and I hope I added value to you and people who are watching
You
us
really
or listening to us.
You really did. It was so wonderful talking to you, getting to ask you about all these places.
Thank you. Thank you.
Watch me now make my own bucket list.
Yeah, and with that, we have finished the conversation segment of The Untold. We are going to go on a very quick break, and we'll come right back afterwards.
And that was all we had for today. It was an honor to get to talk to Maryam about her travels and experiences. Abdullah, what did you think?
It was honestly amazing. Our producers had so many questions. I mentioned it before, related to traveling, right? The work that goes into it, the effort and everything. But we haven't gone through all of that. What we had was an amazing conversation. I think it was about the philosophical approach of traveling. Maryam was so, encouraging, so enlightening. It was amazing talking to her.
It really was. The way that she explained her love of travel and how it even happened organically, and just wanting to focus on the love of culture, that was an amazing thing to think about. Because I feel a lot of people travel to see places, do things, but she took it to another level.
Right.
She went deep within not just the regular tourist situations, but she was visiting tribes, different She was visiting tribes, visiting different locations, doing all kinds of crazy activities that I myself would be way too afraid to do. And her advice on how to overcome that, I really hope I can do it.
Yeah, honestly, it was amazing that she mentioned to take it, on small steps first, right? You don't have to go through these long journeys. Just take the shortest journey you have, and then just follow your curiosity. And I think that was a very good message to end the episode on.
Yes, and I love how her takeaway was that everyone is so welcoming everywhere you go. You just have to try to engage with the actual culture, show that you're interested, and even the fact that she shared some of Kuwait's cultural things with people, I thought that was beautiful.
It's amazing. And that was all the time we've had on The Untold. But until the next time, goodbye for now.
Goodbye.